Hello, and welcome to the eCom Ops Podcast. We believe that there is more than enough content focused on e-commerce marketing and not enough content celebrating the real heroes of e-commerce, those running the operation. Each week, we find and interview an e-commerce operations expert to share the secrets behind how some of this industry's most exciting businesses are run. And now, your host, Norbert Strappler, the CEO of SyncSpider.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the eCom Ops Podcast. Today I'm talking with Trevor from Hello Baby. Hi Trevor, nice to meet you.
Hello.
Hi. All good?
Yes, good. Sitting here trapped in my office in St Albans near London.
Oh, great. So Trevor has two businesses. One of them is a store for baby nursery.
Yes, baby nursery products.
Yeah, very cool. You would tell us a bit about that. And also there is a consulting company, Vendlab, where his team helps e-commerce store owners to get selling products on several marketplaces and the right channels to really grow the business. So Trevor, tell us a bit about yourself, about your tools and products.
I've been selling online for about 12 years now. I started in 2008.
Oh, wow.
I've been doing it for a long time. So I started when eBay was like the thing. So I was working for a company that sold products on eBay. They were like they were like the UK's biggest eBay reseller. Mm-hmm. I was working for them and met a lot of online sellers. It was a real time when particularly eBay was like the go-to platform. And I was very into eBay at the time. And so now, at the time I thought, well, there were loads of people. It seemed like a very good way of starting a business. You know, you can start it up with very little capital. You can, the platforms were there, which you could just start selling on. It was exciting. Now it's really, these days it's very much Amazon's the thing, and eBay hasn't really grown in quite a long time.
But still sales are possible on eBay, right?
eBay is still really important.
Yeah.
It's like probably about 10% of our sales are on eBay. 10% is 10%. 10%'s great. And it's just Amazon is, 10 years ago, Amazon was, a fraction of the size of eBay. And now it's 10 times bigger. Yeah. So, it's really making the running.
I think the case with Amazon is actually that the people that purchase on Amazon have a very good feeling. They feel very comfortable on the marketplace, and they know
the opposite of what it's like to be a seller on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But for the end user, they feel comfortable. They know they are safe. They will get the money back if there is anything. They need not deal with the vendor. They need to deal with Amazon, and Amazon decides what to do. And on eBay, you have nothing.
Between us, I don't know. It's a false sense of security, I think.
Yeah.
I think that it's bad that we have one company that's so dominant because they, you see it from the point of view of a seller, but it's not good to have monopolies because they don't. These days, just as an example, like we had a problem with eBay. One of our accounts got shut down. I wrote to the managing director of eBay and said, you just write him a letter and say, look, this has happened. Got reopened the next day. Right? eBay cares about its sellers because it needs them. Whereas Amazon, we had a problem, got ourselves in a bit of a pickle. It took about 6 months of me pleading with strangers to fix it. There's no way of. You can. They have an algorithm which says, that says that this account is a problem, and you can't get past that, and you just cannot talk to anyone reasonable about it. Yep. And the only way I fixed the problem was to go onto LinkedIn and find some people and just say, "Please help me."
Yeah, this is really a thing on Amazon. You don't have so that the support is there, yes, and you can get help, yes, for using it. But if you have a problem, it really takes ages.
There's no way of getting through to someone. We had a problem with one account that caused another account to get shut down. It was like this cascading kind of problem, and the only way I fixed it was by just finding someone, the one person at Amazon in the whole 100,000 people who work there that actually cared.
That's nice.
I was very lucky.
And how many sales in the UK go to Amazon? Do you have a number for that in mind?
Our business at the moment is about a third Amazon, a third website, and a third other.
Yeah.
So the other being things like eBay. We sell on something called Frugo in the UK. We sell on something called OnBuy. We sell on Cdiscount in France and Bol in the Netherlands. And something called Real in Germany, real.de.
Wow, don't know actually.
Oh, anyway, it's Otto. No, Otto?
Otto, yeah, it's Otto.
It was
Otto and Real.
The thing is with marketplaces, it's great. Sorry. My experience with marketplaces is onboarding a new marketplace. About 1 in 4 of them is actually worth the effort, but you don't know that in advance.
No, you don't.
Which one is worth the effort, and they are quite a lot of effort. So we use a system called Linworks. We'll only integrate with marketplaces that integrate with Linworks, because otherwise you have to do kind of workarounds and stuff. Maybe your product can help us, but
hopefully we will see.
It's difficult. If you've got someone comes to us with a new marketplace and we think, well, do we, the chances of us getting that many sales are quite low. And, if you think about it, I mean, we sell a little bit in a lot of places. So we would sell, for example, in Amazon Spain, we would do a few thousand euros a month, but it all adds up, right? But the thing is with Amazon Spain is it's integrated. Works in a very similar way to the other Amazons. It's integrated with the other Amazons. Our sales system integrates with it. So even though the sales are reasonably low, it doesn't really matter because it's quite easy to manage. Whereas if we were to integrate with, I don't know, take an example. We used to sell on, Price Minister in France and Rakuten in what's now called, well, there's, for example, there's Fnac in France, there's Price Minister in France, there's Rakuten in Germany. We could sell on these things, but the sales would be very low, really, compared to other channels. And
how do you do with translations? So when you sell on local stores, you said you don't have that much work, but wouldn't you? Or don't you need?
If you're looking at, say, for example, these days, Google Translate is your friend, and it works surprisingly well for everything.
Yeah,
you can do. So we would use Google Translate for customer service, and we'd use Google Translate for product listings, and as does Amazon. I mean, if you want to create new listings on Amazon, you can now say, list me on these channels, and it will automatically create the products using, I'm guessing, something not dissimilar from Google Translate to create the listings.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you can do, if you want to translate the listings, you can use a Google spreadsheet and translate this cell into this cell.
Yeah.
It's impressive. And the results aren't bad. But also, if you're looking at, most of these platforms we're talking about are catalog systems. So, like Amazon, it's a catalog system. You list against a catalog item. And therefore, it may be that a lot of your inventory already exists.
Yeah.
Already.
Absolutely.
So you don't have, so we started selling, the last marketplace we did was, take for example, Amazon Netherlands, right? There's Amazon Netherlands, Amazon Poland, and Amazon Sweden launched recently, right? A proportion of our inventory will already be on those channels. And so it'll be a case of taking our UK inventory. So what are the ASIN, Amazon Standard Identification Number. So take the listings for the Amazon UK, say which ones of those are already on Amazon Netherlands. And we know, therefore, we can just sell against those listings and we don't have to create them. And then it's a question of saying, okay, which listings are not, with those that are already there, which listings aren't there? We create the new listings. We don't create the ones which are already there. So,
how do you handle the shipping?
Well, that's all changed recently. As you know, with Brexit. To a certain extent, you just put it in a different bag to a certain extent.
Yeah.
When you have a service that does, it's just become because of Brexit, it's just become a lot more expensive. And that's not because of Brexit. That's because of, it is because of Brexit, but that's not because the shipping's become more expensive, though it has a bit. It's more to do with the fact that where there was no border previously, there's now a border. So items therefore need to go through customs, and in order to make sure that not everything doesn't get lost, if you send stuff, there's DDP and DDU, right? Delivered duty unpaid, delivered duty paid. If you send things delivered duty unpaid, A, it's against Amazon's
rules.
They don't expect that. B, it's a bad customer experience.
Absolutely.
Now,
if I would need to pay something on addition.
Well, it's not, I'm not, it may sound bad. I'm not that bothered about being a bad customer experience, right? What I am bothered about is the fact that A, people can leave me, if it's what's been agreed between us and the customer, right? Then that's fine. Now, the problem is that they don't realize this, and they're not realizing that they need to pay the duty, and therefore they either get very upset and leave feedback, or it doesn't get delivered.
Yeah,
that's the problem. So it's more that, in certain, if stuff has to go into customs and people have to pay, they'll get upset whether they have the right to get upset or not. Because you may well not have. People don't read things, and therefore they don't realise that there's duty due on this item if it gets shipped from the UK. And you could say, well, they should have read the small print, but no one ever does.
Yeah,
so
no one does. No,
we
definitely.
want. The
next bad review is on the way.
Yeah, the next bad review is on the way. So we need to make sure it's a deliverability problem.
Yeah.
Stuff, therefore, then needs to go via a track service that can be delivered duty paid, and they are more expensive than the delivered duty unpaid service.
Okay,
so
got it.
It used to be that everything could go via an untracked service, but now everything has to go via a tracked service. Basically.
Got it. And do you have a shipping center, or do you ship yourself?
We have a warehouse.
A warehouse, yeah.
That's what you mean by shipping center.
Yeah.
I mean, we are going to be using FBA that we don't at the moment.
Yeah.
We sell, we've got like 5,000 SKUs. So, we've got lots of suppliers and 5,000 SKUs. And a complex setup like that doesn't really work or it's more difficult to make work with an external warehouse.
Yeah.
Or
fully agree. Yeah. Fully agree.
If you have lots of deliveries coming in, so we've got, about 300-400 orders going out every day. Lots of deliveries coming in, and so we do lots of different couriers, blah blah blah. And it's quite hard to make. If you've got, if you're an FBA seller that's got 10 SKUs,
yeah, that's no problem. You can ship it to Amazon, and that's it.
That's you can just send the stuff out. So, but yeah, I mean, it'd be lovely not to have a warehouse. But I don't think it's not really, even with, I think that even if we were doing FBA, or even if, you've got to ask, how good is your supplier at delivering stuff into Amazon? Because a lot of them won't be that good. I mean, some of them are set up for it, but some of them aren't. I mean, it's a bit like, like drop shipping, right? I'm sure that some people run drop shipping businesses, though I have to say, I've not really come across anyone that any good enough suppliers selling good enough products that would make me think that I could just get rid of just do a drop shipping business.
Yeah,
I think it's a bit of a get rich quick scheme fantasy that you don't do dispatch yourself, because
I think it depends a bit on the niche. So if you have something very specific where you have a niche and you have the audience, you're a blogger and you have the audience, let's make some business out of it. Drop shipping totally makes sense, but you're totally right. It's a hard business. And the promotions running from drop shippers towards the vendors is typically this get rich fast thing. And it's not serious, I think.
Well, I mean, I think it probably works. I mean, if you're doing it, it depends what. See, the kind of companies we work with, right? They tend to be, fairly, reasonably big companies. They are interested in, and they are good at taking, basically, to a certain extent, the model with e-commerce, right, is you have a supplier.
Yep.
You buy a bulk order from them. They put the bulk order on a pallet. They send it to you. You split it up and you send it to a customer, right? And that's the way it works, right? Now, they are good. Our suppliers are good at putting things on pallets and selling them to us. They're not good at sending things directly to customers. And
Definitely not. It's not their business.
They might say they do it, and some of them do, but there's a number of problems. One is that they are typically not set up to, that it may be that, therefore your business is only as good as they are delivering things. And it's only as good as they are telling you what the stock updates are. Now, if you can do things where you buy things to order, but, as you know, things like Amazon, so they're saying, okay, if you get a negative feedback of more than 1%, then your account can get shut down.
Yep.
Right. Now, so that means that your deliveries, broadly speaking, need to be better than 99%. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if your dropshipper can only deliver 98% of the time, right, then it doesn't work. That's my experience, really.
Absolutely, fully understand that. I have seen it. I've seen it as well with quite some customers. That we serve a lot of B2B customers as well.
Yeah.
And some of them wanted to start this dropshipping business, so they wanted to give their vendors an opportunity to ship the products directly to customers, and they all stuck at the shipping part because they're really used to call the guy who picks up the pallet and not the guy who picks up the package, and they really have problems to make the goods even available in smaller numbers. Because they have everything packed already for pallets.
My suppliers, suppliers, my experience with suppliers is they don't tend to be very tech savvy. So if you,
make a fax order.
The way it works with retail, right? This is pretty basic stuff, but you take an order, you ship it out that day or the next day, and it gets delivered several days after. So you've got to be quite quick, right? But whereas a supplier would typically, we might send in most of our suppliers, we'd send them an order and they wouldn't process it for like sometimes it doesn't get processed for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
So they're not quick enough at doing it. So, this is, I don't know if you've read the Tony, may he rest in peace, the guy that set up Zappos.
Yeah.
Now, if you read his book, he talks about, because they were originally, their original idea was to be a dropship company and not deliver, not hold any stock. But they realized reasonably quickly that their suppliers weren't good enough at delivering things.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my experience with dropship. Unless they're really set up for it, you don't do it. And the other thing is that, another option is buying things into order. So we recently started to set up a pet business, and we thought, okay, we'll find a supplier that's got a big catalog. We'll publish the catalog on all the different places we're good at selling at. We'll sell the stuff. We'll put it on a 5-day delivery timescale. We'll sell it. We'll buy it for next day delivery, and we'll ship it out. Job done. We don't have to buy any stock. But again, you get to the problem that if they're only 98% are good at delivering stuff, it's that 1% or 2% that causes all the problems.
Yeah.
So
it is, and this is really, especially when you're selling on Amazon, you really need to take care that what you say to customer should really be that what you do. And if you say you deliver in 2 or 3 days, then the package needs to be there in 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, and it's especially with things like Prime, and people are expecting it to be, they actually read these things and they read the promise and they get upset when it doesn't arrive. But the problem with Amazon is that, of course, their catalog is of variable quality. So a lot of the time, a lot of our problems are caused by the fact that Amazon's catalog is wrong. Mm. That's very difficult to fix or very difficult to cope with.
Yep. Trevor, tell me, what's your current eCom stack? So you have a web store yourself as well, not only the channels. What's your stack?
So it's Linworks is the kind of the eCom, the hub, the backbone of the situation, which is Linworks is I think they would call themselves a total commerce platform.
Mm-hmm.
So they integrate with different channels. So our website is Magento. Whether we would, I don't know where I stand on the whole Magento Shopify thing.
Which Magento? 1 or 2?
2.
2 already. Great. Yeah. What means already? Yeah. Well, I know too much that they're still on 1. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Magento. I mean, I believe that Magento is more configurable than Shopify.
Yeah.
I think that, but I think that. I mean, running websites is really tough on just about every level, I think, and it's really hard to. Magento is a bit of a beast.
It is.
We recently spent quite a lot of money trying to get it faster with an agency, a specialist Magento agency that said that they could make it faster, and they made it a little bit faster. And I don't even know what fast is anymore. That's what I mean. I'm so confused by it. I don't even know what I mean when people say it's very easy with Magento, and in fact SEO, and in fact any of these things, to get one of these online tools that'll say, you've got X, Y, and Z problem. And then, someone will identify the problem and say, therefore, we need to fix it.
Yeah.
But it's actually then very hard. Like we've been doing this a long time. And if the answers were easy, we'd have done them already. And whenever I hire external agencies, I realize that actually we actually did a lot better than I thought we did. But I was telling you about, so LintWorks is the kind of backbone, Magento is the website. And yeah, that's the LintWorks will do the shipping integration, it does the channel integration, it does the stock management, and it does the warehousing.
Perfect.
So the warehousing is the least strong bit of it.
And how many sales do you go through Magento compared to the other channels? Percentage?
It's about a third Magento.
Pardon?
A third eBay.
30.
Magento a third. Amazon a third other, and the other includes eBay.
Okay, very interesting.
So we would do quite a lot on something called Frugo, and quite a lot on something called, or quite a lot of Bol in the Netherlands, and a bit on a few other channels.
Mm-hmm. And do you have someone who is focusing on operations only, or is this you?
No, I do. I do have an operations manager that does that. Yeah. It's still got like 10 people working for me, so I've got people. I'm trying to. You get to the point when, and I got to that point probably a few years ago, but I only did it recently. Did something about it recently. That you run out of energy for trying to manage everything. So the daily grind of trying to fix some of these problems that just reoccur, and you realise that you only have skills in certain areas, and I needed to get some other people to help me do things. So, for example, retention marketing. And we've kind of got to the point, I was doing the kind of finance stuff myself, but then I realized, I need a better model for understanding how to make money out of this business. And I need a better model for understanding how, it's quite easy on e-commerce stuff to just be quite transactional about things. And so sell this product on this channel at this price, but then it's more difficult to have a better idea of the kind of customer lifetime value. And I'm not that kind of marketeer. And therefore I had to hire a marketeer that understands that kind of thing. So, we've been quite transactional up to now and just quite, congratulate ourselves for every sale that we didn't get on. We got on whatever channel we got them on. Yeah. Without really thinking about the cost of acquiring customers.
That's great. That's great when someone can say that about the things that they're selling. It's really cool. Yeah. What role does automation play in your operations?
Well, nearly everything is automated. It depends. When we try not to have any manual processes. But you can't avoid them. Something's got to pack something. But
yeah, so it's very important for you to have everything automated.
Yeah, So, the stock level updates happen automatically. The orders get pulled in automatically. We then pick the items using handhelds into tote boxes, plastic boxes, and then we scan the item. As we scan the item, it spits out a label. One will be the package label, one will be the delivery note. That then goes into a bag and gets picked up. So, but then to a certain extent, there's another way of looking at automation, right? If everything was perfectly automated, we'd all be out of a job, right?
Yeah, you need a few people as well, of course.
Well, no, it's more that, I mean, look, if everything, if markets work perfectly, right, and delivery worked perfectly, and everyone was always, they would buy the cheapest thing from Amazon all the time, and they wouldn't need us.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think with automation, I mean, if everything got delivered on time, right, you wouldn't need a customer service team.
Yeah.
Right. If all the descriptions were, if suppliers provided you with perfect product descriptions, again, you wouldn't need that. Be the other half of the problems you have, right? If all prices were perfectly transparent and people only ever bought from the cheapest place, then they would just buy directly from the manufacturer or from Amazon. So the fact that things aren't perfectly automated is in some ways a good thing. So we try and, people, but we try not to, it's important for us. We don't do any manual updates. We try, everything needs to be pushed through and pulled in automatically.
Yeah.
That is important.
Cool. Great. Now we talked a bit about your eCom business itself. Yeah. So you as a vendor, but now let's talk about you as a consultant.
Yeah. So I also run a consultancy business called Vendlab, which that is all about getting people to sell on, helping businesses sell on marketplaces. So, selling on Amazon, but not only in Amazon and eBay, not only in the UK, but also internationally. Something we've done very well in my retail business is international sales. So half of our products were exported. At least they were before Brexit, anyway.
You don't like the Brexit, right?
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, me either.
It's I don't know what it's achieved. Stroke nothing. So international sales and helping people improve their international sales, mainly through marketplaces, and also streamlining their businesses through products like Linworks. So we are. So the things that we've done very well ourselves. So marketplaces, international trade, and automation. So yeah, we work with.
What did you learn there? So what did your clients learn you, and what can you give as a quick tip for our audience?
Oh God, there's so many tips, really. I mean, it depends. You have to be a little bit more specific than that. Well, I mean, personally, I think that if you are, I mean, I don't know what kind of, if you've got a catalog you're selling, right, there's no reason not to sell it on marketplaces and no reason not to sell it internationally. And it's a lot easier to get sales, I would say, by opening up the channels that you sell it through, other than trying to do things like, what examples, getting better at SEO, getting better at pay-per-click, getting better at email. I think it's a lot easier just to start selling through one of these channels that in these ready-built channels. So, the chances are, I mean, you could say, there's reasons not to sell on Amazon, there's reasons not to sell on eBay, but these channels have enormous audiences. Mm-hmm. And your customers are almost certainly already on them. And they also do things that are quite hard to do. I mean, for example, Amazon has just recently launched. They recently launched Amazon Netherlands and Amazon Poland, right? It'll be a lot easier for us to reach Polish customers through Amazon Poland than it would be to go directly via our website.
Yeah, definitely.
And it'll be a lot easier. I mean, for example, we sell in Amazon Japan, and the sales aren't massive, but they're significant. They're a few £1,000s a month. And it's very hard. It's much, or other examples are UAE or Saudi Arabia. They're great ways of reaching international customers. Mm-hmm. And if you've already got the product data and you've already got a dispatch system for doing these things, then you've done most of the hard work already.
Yeah.
And then it's a case of configuring your systems and working at an automated system for ensuring that you pull in the sales from these different channels into a central system and dispatch from a central system to wherever your customers are.
Yeah, definitely. And I think also this is also something that we recommend to our customers. If you have the channels and you can sell the products online, if you have a catalog ready, go there and just sell it. list it. If it works, good. If it doesn't work, it's not that much hard work because you have the catalog ready anyway.
Well, I mean, for example, with Amazon, I mean, these catalog, all the main ones, I mean, like, Amazon, Cdiscount, Bol, I don't know what other ones. They're mainly catalog-based systems.
Yep.
So the inventory is already there. So it's a case of taking your product's barcodes, matching them against Amazon, and then creating the listings in Amazon, then linking those in with your system.
Yep. So
it then becomes quite it's relatively straightforward to get started. I mean, I think that it becomes more difficult if you're like an FBA seller who is trying to launch a new product on Amazon. I mean, obviously the products don't exist there, so you need to create optimized listings and sell those on.
Yeah, and you need to ship the products. You need to ship the products to the stocks in the local shipping centers of Amazon.
It's amazing to me these days. There's this whole thing with a lot of companies buying up FBA sellers. Have you come across this?
Not so, because it's not that much our audience. But yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah,
there's enormous amounts of money going into buying FBA sellers.
Yeah,
at the moment. I don't know. If you're an FBA seller, you must be getting so many phone calls from people saying we want to buy you.
Very interesting. Yeah,
they must be utterly inundated.
Now, this is my last question for today, and I love this question because it's very interesting to hear. Who has taught you the most about e-commerce in your career?
Part of my problem, I'm almost entirely self-taught.
Yeah. And these are the most people, but who has told you the most? Have you read much? Have you ever read books, or did you go on Google and just try and error?
Oddly, for someone who's been working in retail for 12 years, I don't think I know very much about it, in a way. I mean, I understand the mechanics of it, and I understand how to optimize products and get sales. But I mean, what I'm actually learning recently there's a whole different side of it, which, and these are hard problems which I find difficult. So, for example, how do you manage stock? How do you manage? And these are problems which are almost as important. All these things are really important. So, how do you how do you connect with customers? And because the e-commerce side of it, you can get a product, you list it on Amazon, and you can sell it and you can dispatch it. And that is, it's a process. Whereas you get this bit of it, which is more of an art. And that is, and I've been recently, the marketing manager, Richard, who I recruited recently, he's taught me a lot about that. So probably him. But it's, he taught me the most. I think mostly what I've learned is just really reading up, lots of online content. And also, I mean, you tend to get, if you choose a system like Limworks, or like we used to use something called Follow, they will push you in a certain way. And they will say, okay, we integrate with eBay, we integrate with Amazon, we integrate with this and that, right? And to a certain extent, you can, if you just, and there's these like open doors to push against, and you can say, okay, well, because you integrate with these systems, we will sell on these platforms.
Yeah.
And, that's a good way, so you'll get pushed in a certain direction by the capabilities of the systems you use. I suppose that influenced me the most, but it also holds us back the most, because, if your system only integrates with certain channels, it then becomes quite hard to sell on other channels that might be a good idea. So, the system we use, right, is great at listing on eBay. It's great at listing on Amazon. It's good at dispatch, but it's not particularly good at. Doesn't have a CRM. Doesn't have any email capabilities, and therefore these are things we have to go and find our own solutions to. And because they're not integrated with the system, it then becomes quite a lot harder to do it. So I think that is probably I don't know if that's a really bad answer to your question, but
very very interesting answer, and I think we can summarize this as learning by doing.
Yes, learning by doing, and
see how it goes.
You do get to a point where you realise that you need to get some help, and that's the point that we've got to.
Yeah.
Because I've grown we turned over £4 million last year, which is great, but we need, in order to grow, we've now got to the point where I need to hire people in who know more about things than me.
Yeah.
And it's a learning curve.
Cool. And how did COVID, the pandemic, how did it affect your ecom sales?
Well, it went in April, May, June last year. The sales did that.
Yeah.
Which is obviously great, but quite like, what are we going to do?
Did you have problems with your suppliers getting the goods?
Not at the moment, though recently a lot of things have been out of stock.
Yeah.
It's a bit delayed. So last June was fine. Now it's a bit of a problem. And I think it's affecting our sales now that we can't get the stuff anymore.
Got it.
I mean, it was basically, I think the prices are less competitive price-wise than it used to be. We're making more money than we were. And it kind of, so we did really, really well. Sales were quite poor January 2020 and February, and then they went mental kind of March, April, May, June, and then went down again. And they were actually lower than they were the year before in the summer. And then the winter with the Christmas was really good. And now they're quite a lot lower, partly because of Brexit.
Yeah. Could be the reason, absolutely.
Well, it's just, we did 25% of our sales. And also, I think that it's beginning to hurt a bit now, the whole thing.
Money is getting
out.
Yeah.
It's people bought all the jigsaws they needed last June. They don't need any more.
Cool. Thank you very much. It was a great interview. Thank you so much. And I really like, so the learning by doing aspects is something that I really love. I'm such a guy myself, so learning by doing and trying different things out, improving every day. And also the point where I said, just do it and list on those marketplaces. If you have the catalog ready, go there, find a tool that can help you. Sorry for that. Find a tool that can help you list it on the marketplaces and sell international. You need not care. If you have the SKUs, if you have the EANs, if you have the ASINs, just connect those catalogs and your stock and do selling.
Yes. So it's unsophisticated, but it works.
Great. Thanks so much. Have a great time. See you soon.
And that's it for this episode of the eCom Ops Podcast. If you enjoyed listening and would like us to find and interview more e-commerce operations experts, please search for eCom Ops Podcast in your favorite podcast listening app, and then subscribe, rate, and review. Until next time.